Hello YouTube. Today's video is regarding the eBay Folding Firebox stove that you can find for about $8 on multiple listings. It's very small, and because it's so cheap, I thought I'd pull the trigger and just check one out. First thing you'll notice, it's not folding at all. I haven't seen a lot of videos on YouTube about this, so I just thought I'd kind of evaluate it, show you guys what it's like in case anybody wanted to get one. It's not that bad, I'm gonna say. Let me just get into it here. The assembly is a little tricky, and it's not that it's too terribly difficult. It's just you've got to hold these pieces in the right positions and such while you assemble it. And the only other video I saw on this item on YouTube, the guy was very perturbed that the stove, it seemed to him that it was not stable. And I haven't had that problem really. It's a little fiddly to get together. It's harder to do on camera. Now the other guy's video, I will put a link to it, but he was saying that it's just not stable, that you can just tap it and it will fall apart. I don't find that to be the case. Once it's assembled, it seems pretty good. I wouldn't use this in a tent or anything like that, but it's pretty solid once you get it together. And it evidently is just for burning small amounts of wood and a pot stand. It does come with this strange piece here, and I'm kind of up in the air about why they included this. I've got three theories. First theory is that they had a bunch of extra pans that of a certain size and they just built a stove around it. The second theory is that once this is in place, you can use it for burning solid fuel tablets. And the third theory is that this is actually intended to be filled up with methanol or alcohol and as the burner itself. So I've tried this with wood. It works. It's about as good as, say one of those canteen stoves. I don't have one handy, but I do have a homemade one. This is just one that I drilled holes in an old canteen cup and put some Chicago screws in. This is a lot thicker steel, it's a lot more solid, but the way these things are used is you generally just set these in your coals and cook on them. I've seen videos of guys trying to feed little sticks into it, and maybe we'll try that in another video, but for the most part, you really want it to be kind of sturdy so you can just set it right in your coals, and it's just basically something to rest your pot on. What I like about this is it's got a bigger top footprint, so you don't have to be... let me show you. This is a bigger pot. If this thing isn't level or flat, this bounces kind of precariously on here and can be knocked over if you're not careful. This is a little bit bigger, and it's just a little bit more stable. However, I don't know if dropping this right in the coals, if it would bend or warp or melt or what. It seems solid, but it's definitely thinner ply steel than something like this. So, if I can do this on camera, I'm going to try and we'll try and fit this in here first of all and fill it with some fuel and see if it's even capable of acting as a burner. I'm not sure that it is, and this is going to be very difficult to do. I've got the tripod between me and my hands here. Okay, so that's all held together. Now, pop this in place. And this is how it's pictured on the eBay listing. And again, once it's all put together, it's not flimsy. It's not going to fall apart. The one thing I noticed is that it doesn't sit completely flat. This dish is actually at an angle. The back is up higher. If I push down on this, it will pop the whole thing apart. I'm not going to do it now, but it will. So for starters, let's just put a little isopropyl in here and see what it does. I'm not sure. I can't imagine why they put this in here. It's about the right height where if you had a solid fuel tablet, it might... I don't use solid fuel tablets, and I don't have any on me. I have some like Weber grill starters usually, but I don't have any today. But let's just put a little isopropyl in here. My standard 91%, my favorite stuff. And I don't want to put too much in, but a little bit here. Well, let's give it a little bit more. Just see what it does. Okay. So, I mean, you could consider that itself to be a burner. You can see by the color of the flames, it's not very hot. It's just yellow fire, not white or blue. Will it boil water? I don't know. Shall we test it? I guess we could. I've got a couple pots here. I've got a old Evernew set. This is back before Evernew started making all their shit out of titanium. This is a stainless set. And it's not very clean, but this appears to actually be working as its own burner. I don't know if I put enough fuel in there to get a rolling boil, but let's throw a small pot on and see what it does. There's some 2 cups water. And I hope there's enough alcohol in there to get it going. I think I should have put more in. Maybe I should do that now. I don't know if I can blow it out. Yeah. Definitely dangerous to use this way. Can't blow it out. We'll just stick this on here and see if it heats up. Or how fast it heats up. There, let me get this adjusted. Okay, so set the temperature for Okay, so let's see how that does. Hopefully I don't burn through this wire on here. I think as it sits, it's kind of a shoddy alcohol burner. I'm going to put the, let's see, where is it? I'll put the A-locks in, and we'll compare them in a minute. Let's just see if this can get up to 212. It seems to be rising pretty quickly, surprisingly quickly. Let me lower the camera here. You can see it's actually acting as a fairly decent burner. I'm shocked that just a dish of alcohol can act as a burner here. But it looks like they've got the dish is about, I'd say, 1.5 inches below, but the actual alcohol level is probably 2 inches below. And we're up to 142. It's rising quickly. It's not emanating any dangerous amount of heat. There's not a lot of flames pushing out. I just hope that I put enough alcohol in it. Feels like it's about to run out. So, I'll just give this a minute. If it takes too long, I'll cut and come back. In the meantime, while we wait, the reason I think this might be an actual quality or a versatile or worthwhile product is because it's got a smaller footprint than the Trangia Triangle. And not the Trangia Triangle, the West Wind Triangle, which is fairly large. Well, I'll get that out when I can put it on camera. But the pot sits on here nice and stable. The stand itself seems stable. I don't know about the wisdom of setting this into an actual fire. If you did, I don't know. The bottom plate, I think you're going to want to set it in the coals and then kind of scoop some coals into this little window here. But it's not getting real hot. In fact, the bottom is cool to the touch. But I'm out of alcohol here. So as soon as this dries up, I'm going to quickly refill it and relight it. I should have put more in it to begin with. We're up to 181 at 3 minutes 50 seconds. And here we go. I'm shocked that this is actually raising the temperature of this 2 cups. This 2 cups I put in, or yeah, 2 cups, 1 pint mason jar. So part of this is user error. If I had put more fuel in to begin with, we'd have a shorter time here. We're at 4 minutes 30, and we're going to hit 212 fairly quickly. Let me go down here again. Not bad, I gotta say. Unless this just like explodes or something, this is shockingly good boil time. And I started about, I don't know, 70-ish degrees in here. You can hear it simmering. Well, I didn't clean these pots ahead of time. They were still dirty from last time. 205, 206. And we're at a rolling boil just from this little tiny pan filled with alcohol here. So it's not putting out a lot of ambient heat. It seems like this the box itself is still cool to the touch, just barely warm actually. It's acting as a huge heat sink. I don't know how to put it out though. Yeah, that's dangerous. Definitely don't want to try and blow it. So, I guess I'm just going to let this burn out, and I'll be right back. Now, just an update now. It's been burning for a while. I just set off the fire alarm. That's just the, actually, I don't know if it's a heat alarm or fire alarm, but I turn it off, and we're still boiling hard here. There's no way to put this fucking thing out. Bear that in mind. If you're going to use one of these, it seems so far fairly efficient, fairly stable, but there's no way to put it out once it starts until the fuel runs out. So, come around. Okay, that didn't take too long. It was about, I don't know, 3 minutes after I turned off the camera the first time, maybe a minute and a half since the last time. All the alcohol is expended. Water has boiled a lot very quickly, and that was 2 cups. So believe it or not, that little pan that comes with this $8 stove is meant to, I assume, pour your methanol or isopropyl into, and it's fairly efficient and it works. Definitely don't want to spill it, and you definitely wouldn't want to use this indoors, or definitely not in a tent or camping. Yeah, don't use this in a nylon tent or something like that. But if you've got a nice base for it, it seems fairly safe, and it works. I'm shocked. I didn't realize that it would boil water as quickly as it did. It was, we'll have to go back and look. It was about, I'd say 5 minutes. I had to refill it, but 5 minutes is a pretty good time, and it probably would have been shorter if I had done it properly the first time. So, once this cools down a little, it's a little hot now. It's still, I mean, I don't want to touch the pan itself, but and I'll put a couple listings to this into the video description. Like I said, it's about $8 or $9 on eBay. It's not bad, and the beauty is, oh, it cools down fairly fast. This just went out, and it's already cool to the touch. The beauty is, if you're not using the pan, a Trangia or an Alox, or I assume one of those Vargos, will probably fit in here. It's a bunch of soot from the isopropyl, but There's the A-locks. Now your simmering cap, if you're going to use your simmering, it's not going to really fit unless you can somehow squeeze it in like this. Let's see. This will be very hard to do once it's lit, but the simmering will fit in. I'm not sure that it would, I'm not sure you'd be able to do that after it's lit though. So, just because you have to wiggle this branch in. But yeah, maybe if you just folded this in, just dropped it on, then it might work. I don't know. But yeah, this works. The A-locks in here works a treat. It's real nice. If I can get it going here, I'll demonstrate. And I suspect the A-locks would get it boiling in the same amount of time. However, the A-locks does represent a significantly bigger package. If you wanted the smallest possible package, this little tin that comes with it is very thin. And, you know, there's really no need to do this with the A-locks here. But what's interesting about this is once you break it all down, the footprint seems to actually be smaller. Well, excluding this piece, the footprint is smaller than the west one, which I've got here. Just got it out of my get home bag. I mean, it's comparable. This is a little bit smaller in, you know, one dimension, but bigger in the other. And this is a little bit longer. So it just depends on how you're going to pack it, I guess, how useful it will be for you. I guess stay tuned, and in the next video I will set this up with some wood and see how effective it is. Now, right now it's about 40 or less, let me see, it's probably 36 degrees outside. It's been raining, so if I set it up outside, it will be literally the most unfavorable conditions that you would probably want to try one of these in. So I'll set it up, and instead of setting it in a bed of coals, I'm going to just try and feed little sticks into it and see how effective that is. So stay tuned for that on the next video. That's all for now. Peace.